Ghana Means Business, brought to you by Goil. Goil, good energy.
Ghana Means Business. Your story, our message.
This is Kwame Pianim. He attended Achimota School for his secondary education and holds a BA double honors in economics and political science from the University of New Brunswick, Canada in 1963 and MA in economics from Yale University, USA in 1964. As an economist, his philosophy is multidimensional, but a consistent theme has been the essential incompatibility between the economic agenda of poor nations, or what ought to be their economic agenda, and the priorities of the Bretton Woods system.
Every now and again, Goil makes good things happen. This time, Goil has introduced Super XP Ron 95, a higher grade fuel loaded with additives and yet sold at the same price as normal fuel. Goil Super XP Ron 95 enhances engine performance like never before. It maintains the engine by keeping it clean from carbon deposits. Goil Super XP Ron 95 is designed to burn slowly and thus improves fuel economy, making you save money after several kilometers. Goil Super XP Ron 95 gives you a smooth driving experience, that is, less vibrations. Fill up with Goil Super XP Ron 95. Now there's no need to pay more for any higher grade fuel. Goil has that sorted. Goil, good energy.
Ghana Means Business. Your story, our message.
It is indeed an honor to have you on our show. Thank you so much.
The pleasure is mine.
There's a saying that business and politics is like fuel and water. They don't mix. Can the same be said, or can the same hold true in Ghana for local indigenous businessmen who venture into politics?
I think that for a developing country like Ghana, both political parties, both the major political parties, should have in mind that one of their roles is to help grow Ghanaian entrepreneurs. And therefore, whether the business person has a political hat or not, our responsibility is to make sure that their businesses succeed, as long as they are doing genuine business. Because it is the business people with entrepreneurial talents that are going to see opportunities, invest, create jobs for the youth. Because, look, the youth in Africa, they are going to be many. Either we have them as a stabilizing factor, providing the man and woman power for driving our economies, or they become a disruptive force in our society.
Absolutely.
So if we look at it that way, all of us have an important role in growing our business. Forget it, even if they have political colors. And then we should also have an eye out for the crooked businessmen who wear political tags. You see them today, they are NDC. You see them tomorrow, they are NPP. Those are the dangerous ones. But the business people, all of us, should support them.
Thank you. You were the chairman of the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, and you resigned. Can you share with us the reason that led to your resignation?
If then there is one thing that all Ghanaians have to learn and support, we have the PURC, which is independent. It means when it comes to determining their technical functions, they do not have to consult or take any orders from the executive, that is the government. The same with the central bank. They are also supposed to be independent. And if all of us see the activities, the directives of the Bank of Ghana the tariff setting of PURC as independent technical functions. Then we'll move away from politicizing tariffs, which has made it very difficult for Ghana to have competitively priced, adequate, reliable electricity. Without competitively priced, adequate, and reliable electricity, we cannot develop this country.
That is true.
Look at the ICT that we use, going on the internet. Without electricity, you can't do it. Ethiopia is delivering electricity at the industrial zones at 3 cents per kilowatt hour. That just reminds of the 50s, when we had only hydro at about 3 cents per kilowatt hour. Now our power is 15 cents. How can you compete with Ethiopia in a continental free trade African market?
And drive your investment, and reduce your cost.
You know, so it is important, and that's the thing I took on the chairmanship of the PURC.
The independence.
Yeah, because I told the president, people know me. Some people respect me.
This is President Kufuor at this time.
President Kufuor.
Yes.
So give me the chance to make it genuinely independent. So of course, I did as I was promised. The PURC will come out with a price. Then at first the government will say, okay, we accept it, but we'll pay VRA and ECG. Of course, they never paid. And therefore, it accumulated. You know, it has been the history of this country. When mails came in, the price, the tariff of electricity was perfect. Then the PURC, for some reason, went and reduced it. So, you know, either you have independent men of technical competence and moral integrity running some of these institutions so that they will not do self-censorship. They will not go and ask, what do I have to do? Do a technical job. That was the point I was trying to signal, that these institutions, with the people of Ghana, under the Constitution, have made independent so that technicians will set up technical decisions for us, which will help us grow. Let's keep them independent.
Without the political angles.
Yeah.
We tend to blame a lot of Ghana's woes on our constitution. We tend to feel that this 1992 constitution came out of a military regime concept that is alien to some people, doesn't really sit well, especially the fact that it gives the executive too much power. It literally makes an emperor out of a president. And perhaps it is time for us to look at the Constitution. Do you think that our Constitution just needs tweaking, or we need to look at it from a comprehensive point of view? Various governments have complained when they were in opposition, and then when they came into power, there have been various constitutional reform committees, but I don't know whether it's the lack of political will or whether the Constitution is functioning well and it's just sheer noise that others make. What is your take on that?
Look, I'm a conservative. I think the Constitution may need some tweaking. But basically, what is happening is this. The Constitution demands and expects a certain Ghanaian character. Men of integrity, people who speak up their minds and act courageously. Unfortunately, we've not demonstrated that. Why do we say that the president is an emperor? The president cannot legislate. We have an independent legislature. The laws are such that if the president wants to do anything, he takes his budget to parliament. If he wants to borrow, he wants to do anything, he has to send a financial analysis to parliament. Say, these are the justification for raising this loan, this is what I'm going to do with it. It means that we have men and women of professional competence and moral integrity in parliament who know their job, who demand that the right thing be done. And to me, you take the Indian constitution, it's been adjudicated. That's how you let a constitution become a living document. The past we are not sure of. Let's adjudicate it. You take the original responsibility of the Supreme Court. Let's go and test it. It's been tested now. Now the Supreme Court has said chief executives are not supposed to be exposed to the 4-year political cycle so that we have people of merit running our institutions. But of course, if the Supreme Court says this, and you have young people who are chief executives, who are contesting on political party paper, then when the government changes, what do you expect to happen to them? So we should have rules and laws to protect that. If you're a young man and you leave the public service, you are not supposed to do partisan politics in public service. You leave it, and within 2 years, you are going to do partisan politics. We should quash your pension because you were not a public service in the right spirit. So we need to make some of these rules to support and guide them. I believe, for example, that the time has come to make the district chief executive, the district assemblies, elective, political. The political parties should be there, guide them, let's elect them. You know, we are building a house at the top without a foundation. The cleanliness of the place, the code for buildings, these are all activities that are reserved for the districts. The district should be able to raise money to build infrastructure. Municipal bonds.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to invest in a bond for a chief executive who can be removed because he didn't attend a funeral when the president was supposed to be coming. We have to elect them. So there are things we need to change. If you talk about it's alien, the constitution, it's not alien. The only thing I regret we didn't add to this constitution was the inter-Persia dimension of the Ashanti Empire. You know, in the olden days, among the Ashantis, before Osei Tutu and Komfo came, who were the Bismarcks of our place, the chiefs, their Brempons, like you, Nana, had life and death rights over your subjects. Osei Tutu and Komfo moved it from their Brempons and the chiefs and then transferred to only the first among equals, the primus inter pares, Osei Tutu, the first. So that every Ashanti could not be killed by their Brempons and their sub-chiefs, except by Osei Tutu the first. And we created this and so that if your chief or somebody was cheating you, and you don't have the resources to contest, you just say, we could two one time kesiye. You swear the grace over the person, and immediately you are arrested. And the case is removed from whatever jurisdiction to a two-force jurisdiction direct. If we had had something, we've been innovative and create something like that. A poor man sitting in Broa for a Volta region who is being cheated by some rich man because his land is being taken or is not being given his due right, swears that growth oath, and it will come immediately to the president's office, and there should be a retired chief, a retired Supreme Court judge or appeal court judge, and 3 people who sit there to adjudicate and give them justice. That's the only thing I think a few of these things in all our various tribes would have been added to modernize or upgrade.
I think Paul did something like that in the Old Testament when he had to be taken to Caesar.
Yeah, I say I appeal to Caesar.
Appeal to Caesar.
And you have to be taken to Caesar.
Wow.
You know, something. But I think that the constitution we have, there are changes we need to make, but let's be gradual and do it. Let's adjudicate, which means let's take cases to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court make law. And when the Supreme Court says this, and on that original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court that interprets the Constitution, all of them should sit. When they decide, it's the majority considered opinion of the Supreme Court.
The Ministry of Finance recently launched a 40-member committee to investigate, arrest the decline of the CD against major currencies. Now, do you think where prayer has failed, this committee will be victorious? in rescuing the city?
Look, my view on this committee is very clear. My first concern was that it was a slippery slope towards undermining the constitutional role of the central bank. The governor is the only public institution where the governor is chairman of his own board. Every other board is against the constitution. But because we wanted it to be non-political, to operate as a technocrat, that's what I mean. And Yosaf Mafo, the senior minister, was the greatest advocate for the independence of the central bank. So to me, it seemed odd that it's part of a cabinet that is doing that. And when I talked to the Minister of Finance, I said, no. It's not the exchange rate management that way. This committee is supposed to be bigger. It's a structural. It's how do you make Ghana an export-oriented economy? How do you build all the hubs, the aviation hub, the oil and gas hub, the energy hub, to make Ghana foreign exchange earnings become more, so that we don't have reserves of just 3 months, but maybe 2 years, 3 years reserves and so forth. That's what you want to say. If that's what we want, make it clear that it is not exchange development, because to be misconstrued as if you are usurping the powers of the central bank. So he assured me that's not what he was doing. But to me, we've politicized the exchange rate enough. Okay. Dr. Bawumia made a statement which is commonsensical, that if there's something wrong with the exchange rate, it's depreciating. It means there's something fundamentally wrong with the economy. Exchange rate depreciation going up and down, it's like having a headache. Doctors don't cure headaches. They find out what is ailing you. Maybe it's your heart. You go to the heart and fix it. Maybe it's your kidney. You go in there and fix it. So let us stop talking about the exchange rate. We talk about the exchange rate as if a stable exchange rate will cure all our ills.
Let's get to the root cause.
The CFA.
And what is the root cause?
The root cause, demand and supply for foreign exchange. If, for example, I'm producing soap. You get paid, instead of buying my soap, you go and buy Lux soap from the Philippines. You've exported your brother-in-law's job. A lot of countries have controls. They do it by saying...
by subsidies.
By saying, subsidies, and also saying that your goods do not qualify to come to my market.
Sure.
They set up sanitation and something standards that you have to meet to be able to come. The whole idea of the 5G, the Americans say, no, don't go to Huawei for 5G and so forth, because they will use it to spy on you. I mean, they've been using the system to spy on us all this time, so they know what they are talking about. But it's technology.
Absolutely.
And the Chinese, the technology is superior to that of America. So
it was more of a business decision as opposed to...
So supply and demand of foreign exchange. The more foreign exchange you demand from others, then your currency has to weaken. Because your currency is weakening, then your young people also know that if they get into the export business and take out $100, earn $100, instead of taking 500 cedis now, next time they come, it's 5.6. They get 560. So you don't focus on the foreign exchange. Focus on the fundamentals.
What about the trade deficit, the export industry, our industries? Because one can also make the argument that it's also fundamentally an issue of we import way much more than what we export. Yeah. And I think as a people, we have become very dependent on trade, especially importation of goods into our system, including used clothes. Anything that we consume, we literally import. And doing that creates a major strain on our currency quantities.
You see, when you are a developing country, the presumption is that you have a trade visit on a current account. Why? You are importing equipment if you are doing your industrialization, you are importing equipment for industrialization, you are exporting your raw materials, and of course people are investing. When people bring in their monies to invest, the oil companies, one may come with about $4 billion, $1 billion of investment is coming in. So your currency may otherwise appreciate. So when these are, so you create a trade deficit. On the services side, maybe you have some, but you are not as strong. If your tourism is strong, it will minimize, and then capital comes in. What others? So what you export and what others are willingly prepared to lend to you, okay? So that creates a balance. So if your imports are higher than your exports, because you are bringing equipment to industrialize, then your export, your GIPC, your Ghana Investment Promotion Center, should be strong to make Ghana a nice place for people to invest. So they bring it in to balance this deficit. But if after your these investors have come in with their money, you are still short, then it's a debt, then you are borrowing from it. And if you are borrowing, there's nothing wrong with borrowing. As long as the borrowing is going to increase, create a stream of exports that can also come to help you pay for them. So it's all managing an economy. It's a carefully managed activity, like you are managing your house.
Calibration.
Yeah, you have to calibrate it properly.
Absolutely.
Every now and again, Goil makes good things happen. This time, Goil has introduced Super XP Ron 95, a higher grade fuel loaded with additives and yet sold at the same price as normal fuel. Goil Super XP Ron 95 enhances engine performance like never before. It maintains the engine by keeping it clean from carbon deposits. Goil Super XP Ron 95 is designed to burn slowly and thus improves fuel economy, making you save money after several kilometers. Goil Super XP Ron 95 gives you a smooth driving experience, that is, less vibrations. Fill up with Goil Super XP Ron 95. Now there's no need to pay more for any higher grade fuel. Goil has that sorted. Goil, good energy.
Ghana means business. Your story, our message.
On a personal note, not to bring back memories, but in 1982, you were arrested with Sergeant Akatapori and others for a charge. And subsequently, you were tried and convicted. Can you share with us this personal side of you that perhaps those who were born after 1985, who are in their prime age now of 35 years, may not even recollect, let alone know about?
I was in Akatapori was not part of the group. Okay. There were 23 other soldiers. I was the only civilian.
23 other soldiers?
Yeah.
And you were the only civilian?
Yeah. My charge was abatement, and then also they say preparation to remove Rawlins's government. No, preparation, abatement. It wasn't treason, it was preparation, preparing, and then abatement. And that I was supposed to have given monies to the soldiers. I was tried and convicted by a tribunal. The law under which I was convicted was reviewed and changed because they allowed hearsay. Somebody can go and say, oh, I heard somebody say that, Kwame Pianim said that, or I was supposed to have brought in SAS to do that. The SAS people I was supposed to have brought were people who were doing consultancy who were in my guest house. You know, one of them appeared. They say, "Look at me, so fat. Can I be an SAS?" So forget about whatever happened.
Okay.
What is important is what we take away from that period. You know, the period was.
What was the mood at that time?
The period. I mean, people were scared. You know, Rawlins came in. A lot of people were killed.
For trumped-up charges, or were they? How were people? Were people being tried in a competent court of law?
No, you know, there were people even there. Some of the people who were charging people, interrogating them. They come masked. You don't see them. Who are your interrogators and so forth. And it showed the bad side of Ghanaians.
This is 1982.
Yeah, they said that people should report 79, 82 going on. People should report their neighbors. And you could see long queues of Ghanaians going to report their neighbors. It was 82, and it was a very bad time. That's the worst performance of our economy. People were wearing, you see people on television, we call the rolling necklace. People had these, their
collarbones.
Their collarbones showed. There was hunger.
Okay.
1 million people were deported from Nigeria. They came back to Ghana. UN and everybody came. They were trying to meet them at the trade fair site to provide emergency relief for them. The next day, nobody was there. It showed the strength of the Ghanaian families. People have just been absorbed by their families. We had curfews. I remember one.
The whole Ghana.
The whole Ghana. Had curfew at 6 o'clock, supposed to be in and in bed, and I was walking in my garden. About 15 soldiers in a Pinsgova stopped. Hey, my friend, what do you think you are doing?
In your own garden?
My own garden. Okay. Do you understand curfew? I said, I thought I do. Foolish man, go to bed. Yes, sir. In those military times, these young guys with guns think they know what you should be doing. They think they know how young girls should be dressed. No lipstick, this and that. That's the fear. It's not the military discipline you want. It's the discipline of the mind that you need to be able to grow a country. So they were difficult days. People were suspicious of one another. Lawlessness, no rule of law. And I think we should count ourselves lucky that we got through. I'm lucky that I got through, but I think the experience was good for me.
How many years were you in prison?
I spent 10 years in prison, 82 to 92.
Which prison?
Oh, plenty. I was in Ashford, in Sawem prison, Taprade, the secondary European prison. So,
but just a little bit, how was the experience in the prison?
There are a lot of things I learned. I learned that not all people who are sent to prison have committed a crime. There were young people who had nobody to protect them. There was a young guy who had been there, who had been sentenced to 15 years imprisonment for selling 555, the cigarette, above the control price. And this guy,
how many years?
55 years. Remember, sentenced some of them 70 years. The tribunals, it was a racket. They'll give you...
For selling cigarettes?
Above the control price. One cigarette above the control price. And the guy, it was his wife's shop. He didn't want his wife to go to prison. So he said it was mine. And they brought him in. So I learned a lot in the prison. I went to prison as probably an arrogant person thinking I know everything. And I came out and said, look, you learn a bit of humility. Your cell is about this size, maybe 4 meters by 3 meters, and you're about 3, 6, 9 people sleeping there. 5 o'clock, 5:30, you are locked in. There's a piss pot around there, and people are supposed to go to toilet in it whilst you are sleeping in that room until the next morning, 5:30, when you are released. So you get to realize that all the stress you are putting yourself through to make all this money, what is it for? You can only sleep in one bed at a time. And you get to value life and friendships.
Did you ever receive a presidential pardon? And
yes,
you did.
I think that it was interesting. President Rawlings, before he left power, gave me an absolute unconditional pardon and quashed the Supreme Court judgment who said that I was not qualified to run for the presidency of this country. So yes, I did receive it.
Mr. Pianim, thank you so much for being on Ghana Means Business and we are deeply honored. Thank you so much,
My pleasure.
sir. Thank you very, very much.